Taking a look around the garden and seeing what's actually happening, I notice a couple of things. One, the plants that have been here all winter are starting to get fuller, they're starting to take off, they're starting to grow. So those plants that are established are doing really well and growing quickly. The seeds that I put in the ground have not started to come up yet, which is expected. The amount of time it takes for those seeds to come up is a range, and we're still in the time I would expect them to come up. But I think a combination of it was cold when I first put them in the ground, and it's been very windy, so the top layer of soil where they are has gotten a bit dry, means that they are taking longer than I originally thought to sprout. They still will sprout, it's just going to take a little bit more time. Meanwhile, next week it's going to get chilly again. We're going to have overnight temperatures in the 30s, and so these little guys, when they do come up, should be okay. But I want to try something different to make sure that I have plants in the ground pretty soon. So we're going to leave here because there's not much I can do here right now, and we're going to go to my house. I have a bit of a greenhouse set up, and we're going to put some seeds in some planters in the greenhouse where it should stay warmer and where I can water them every day and make sure they have enough water in order to sprout. Because remember, water is one of the things that plants need to survive. And I'm not here often enough to make sure that the seeds in the ground here have enough water. Eventually, it'll start raining again and it'll warm up and these seeds will start to take off. But in order to control it, I want to do something at my house where I am every day so that we can get some plants growing. All right, so I'll see you back at my house. This is a special area of our house where we have these lights that will help us to grow all of these plants inside until they are strong enough to be planted outside. Most of these are tomatoes and peppers and other things that it's just too cold to plant outside right now. These, however, are onions. And the cool thing, well, we'll talk about those in a second. And over here, I'm going to show you a tomato. Okay, these onions, and there's a picture of it in the bottom right, are so young that the seeds are still stuck on the end of their leaves. And this is a type of tomato called a mushroom basket, and it is growing nice and strong. When a seed first sprouts, it has its first leaves, which have a big fancy name called cotyledon, and those are like their first leaves that help them to start to grow and gather the sun. But as they grow up, they start to grow what are called their true leaves. And you know that the plant is starting to grow older as it gets its first true leaves. Okay, these little pepper plants have tiny little true leaves in the center, and those first leaves are the big ones on the outside. We are going to start some seeds in these little seed trays. These seed trays are individual cells, right, that are about that tall, a couple inches deep. Okay, and so what we do is we fill it with potting mix, seed starting potting mix. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then we put one seed in each individual cell. The seeds will start to grow when they get, a little bit big and they've got some true leaves going and they're nice and strong. We will take them out and then plant them into our garden. All of the things that we're going to put in these cells are planted at 1 per square foot. So Brussels sprouts, basil, tomatillo, and broccoli are all large plants, and so we need to have enough room for them all. They are also plants that like warmer weather, which is why I'm going to start the seeds now and keep them in my little greenhouse, which I will show you in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started planting these seeds. Dark opal basil. Purple tomatillo. Catskill Brussels sprouts. Waltham broccoli. Now I have to water the seeds. The seeds will go out back into the greenhouse until they are strong enough to be planted. Now check out a series of scenes from around the garden this week.